hands down, this has been one of the best experiences for me as an actor. I've said this to Zoya and Reema, in fact, when they came to narrate the story to me. I didn't take any sort of time. I didn't say, I'll get back to you, send me the script. There and then on the table, I was like, I have to play this role. It's that powerful. It's that. It's just so satisfying as an actor to be able to portray such strong female personas on screen. And I was really looking for that. So thank you, Zoya and Reema, where are you? There. For thinking of me for Anjali Bhati. And of course, working with this entire team has been fantastic. So as an experience, it is just the best.
I mean, I'd worked with Zoya and Reema on Gully Boy, and then I worked with Excel on Mirzapur. So I was excited to get something else with them, and in comes Dahaad, and I was absolutely floored by what I read and by the character and the entire story. And I wanted to go back. As they say, I'm a spaceship, and that's my mothership sitting there. So I like to work with them. So whatever. So it's just simple. Like, I like going there, shooting with them, doing work with them. That's it.
I got to work with fantastic directors. They are some of the best storytellers in the business. And what a talented cast. And I've been an admirer of all of their work. So I got an opportunity to sort of, mingle with them, get to know them a little bit, riff with them, and then do some scenes while in uniform.
Vardi jach rahi hai kahin?
And also endless supply of kachoris.
I think Excel Tiger में भी हर एक्टर की तमन्ना होती है कि उनके साथ काम करने की, और तो वो था. और सेकंड आई गेस स्क्रिप्ट बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग थी, और मैंने ऐसा कैरेक्टर कभी किया नहीं है. मतलब मैंने जो कैरेक्टर किए हैं बहुत ही स्ट्रॉन्ग इंटेंस कैरेक्टर किए हैं, तो बहुत कुछ अलग था. राइटिंग बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग थी, रीमा डायरेक्ट कर रही थी, तो मतलब करना ही था.
Inspiration is all around us, and every day in our lives we meet such strong women who are just living life every day, holding the fort, just moving forward in the world. And I think inspiration can be drawn from anywhere. And I think we have a very, very special and very inspiring lady amongst us today, one such woman like that today, Miss Meera Chadda Borwankar. She is, please join us on stage.
Thank you for having me here. First of all, I would, if I go back, in 1981 batch of Indian Police Service, there were 70 male officers, and I was the only lady officer. It was tough. We had to do from horse riding to unarmed combat to rock climbing to jungle nights and swimming, which I very royally failed because I was so conscious of my swimming suit with 70 boys around. So it was tough, but I think it paved way for women to join police. And as we have seen in the trailer, we are not, women cops are not dumb-wit beauties. They are serious thinkers, they are problem solvers, and they are very committed to their profession. As the trailer showed, I loved the scene where she's called Lady Singham and she doesn't like it. Because the protagonist is serious about her investigation, she doesn't want any labels. So the journey of women cops in India and abroad has been from being treated as matrons, fit only to investigate crime against women. We have proved that we are keen learners, we are problem solvers, and we stand tall when handling law and order situations. So the trailer shows that Anjali is a serious professional, and that is how we wish to be treated by citizens and by the media. Thank you.
And genuinely, it's only because of women like you who paved the way, where we get to tell these stories. So thank you very much, ma'am.
Thanks, and I definitely don't think it will be binge watching. I think it's a very serious one with a deep message, you know, about the competence of women. And I also felt that the character is very strong in intuitive thinking. You know, she can think and put two and two together while, sorry to say, the male officers seem to be... See, here I was watching from uniform to the story to the acting, everything is very real. If you watch a serial when you feel it's the real woman cop solving an undetected case, you do feel inspired, you do feel encouraged. And also I'm sure the story would end with successful detection. So success inspires, and a realistic portrayal of success as in Dahaad would definitely encourage and inspire more women to join to this.
I mean, why should boys have all the fun, right? And I think it's about time, you know, we started representing more real women, strong women on screen. There's so many stories to be told, like I said earlier. And this was just one such story which came to me, which I think I got really lucky with this one. You know, as an actor, very rarely you get come by these roles that just hit you bang in the face and you're like, you have to do it. So this was one such role, and yeah, I think as a cop, I think it's very different from the Chulbul Pandey you're talking about. Like ma'am said, she's very real, she's very raw, she's very, you know, she knows what she's doing and she knows what she wants. She's going to get justice no matter what it takes. She's that kind of a woman, and it was really my honor to be able to play her on screen. We've actually seen very few, like far and few, you know, there's no one particular character that really sticks out right now when I'm talking to you at the top of my head. I hope Anjali Bhati becomes that character where people kind of refer to her when they talk about, you know, portrayal of women cops on screen in Indian cinema. So I hope she becomes that, and I hope that more people end up saying more stories of such women.
Whether it's crime or suspense drama or thrillers, for me personally, it's a favorite genre. And when we came up, you know, when we started talking about creating this, obviously there was a lot that, you know, in a long format, there's a lot you can do. Like Zoya said, we had done Talash earlier, but that was a feature film. And in long format, I think you can really get into it. So, yeah, I think that was the start of it.
I'm playing a very nice person who's a Hindi teacher, who's also a philanthropist, takes classes for underprivileged kids. And it's what we've shown right now, and I want to talk about what has been shown. And I wanted to bring in a certain kind of authenticity and niceness. So I played that, and Rima helped me in preparing this part.
It's a story about a fierce woman being told by some fierce women. And so we had to tell the story. It's very layered, very nuanced, and with each iteration, it became more and more complex, intriguing. And most importantly, I think it's the intent behind telling the story. It was very important that a story like this, you know, be told. It's a story about loss, endurance, hope. It's just incredible. And when, you know, the craft of Zoya, Rima, Ruchika comes in, what you have is Dahaad, and we are so incredibly proud that we were enablers in this story.
I think, I mean, every story has its own integrity, And I think if you stay true to that, if you stay honest to the characters you're creating and the journey of those characters, if you stay honest to that and don't try to do this also and try to do that also and please this one also and please that, I think if you're honest and you stick with that, you create a world and you create an authenticity. The challenge at the end of the day is, whatever your genre, is to make an audience feel something. They need to feel something. They need to resonate. That feeling could be anything. It could be amusement. It could be pathos. It could be a reflection of their life in them. Whatever. They need to feel something. I think that's the biggest challenge. And I think the only tool you have besides a narrative arc that's interesting is to be honest with your work.
After we like a story, the next image which comes to me is Aparna, the fierce Aparna. They have to go and now narrate it to her. You know, like she said earlier, this is a fierce story, fierce writer. She didn't say about the fierce person who was going to be hearing it. So anyway, no, but I mean, honestly, I think what happens with any story, right, which we like, whether it's written by Zoya and Rima or any writer which we collaborate with, you know, is that I think that it has to be relatable on a certain level. It talks to you, it's saying something, it's engaging on some level, and emotionally there has to be some connect. And I think if you stay honest to that and you relate to it, you'll be able to convince millions of other people, you know, and then even Aparna for that matter. So yeah, I mean, we're just on that, and we have quite a few shows. In fact, everything, most of our stuff is on Prime, and we're looking forward now to Dahaad and the next slate with them.
Yes. First of all, can we all have another round of applause for Dahaad, making it be the first Indian original to be showcased at the Berlin Olympics? It is, and to me, I think your question kind of had the answer within it. Indian content is doing exceptionally well. I think broadly, I think Indian stories they're having a moment on the global entertaining landscape as we speak right now. And Dahaad is a really good example of it. I think the world is truly embracing and applauding the amazing stories that are coming out of the country, you know, across a variety of genres and across a variety of cultures, really. And we see our role as Prime Video as being an enabler of, you know, making sure those stories find a global audience, you know, across more than 240 countries and territories. You know, more than a quarter, more than 25% of viewership of our Indian originals actually comes from outside the country. So that's telling you a little about how our stories are really finding a global audience more and more, and that number has only been going up. You know, in fact, something like as recently as Farzi, right? It entered, you know, the top 10 trending lists across multiple countries. Last count I remember, it was across 10 countries just in its launch weekend, right? So I think we are having a moment. It's great. It's great to be able to, you know, help tell those stories. It's great to find the audiences that are really looking for these stories, and not just Indian stories finding a global audience. I think we are entering a new interesting phase of, you know, Indian stories entering global interconnected universes, if I may. You know, case in point being Citadel, that we recently announced. So I think it's a great time for the Indian creative economy and for the storytelling ecosystem, and we're just so thrilled that we get to play a role in it. Yeah, I think it's not just Prime Video. I want to make that point. It is just a great time to be, you know, to be telling great stories, because we are a storytelling culture fundamentally, right? So it's great that now we get to tell it to the world, and it seems like, you know, everybody's loving what we have to say.
Try to stand out. I really don't think that way at all. But, you know, sometimes people have this, I do use it to sort of do a little bit of business, you know. People think I'm a really good actor. So I do deals with them कि मैं थोड़ा कम acting करूँगा, आप अच्छे लगोगे तो पैसे दे दो इधर, मतलब 25-30 लाख I usually charge per scene. Yeah, I told you I'm very rich. I don't really everything is about the stories, about the scene, who you're working with. One person can't make a scene work. There's a lot of people who are behind the camera, who are facing the camera. There are co-actors, there are technicians. All of us put our efforts together to make a scene work, and then that scene flows into another scene and another, and the story is told. I don't really care about trying to standing out. I mean, I want to just be as honest as possible and give my best on that day, and sometimes you can't, but that's okay. But that's all I try. And if people think that my work is good, I'm very grateful. Thank you very much. But I think the trick is to not try too hard to stand out and just be honest and truthful and work with your colleagues.
What about your directorial abilities?
Yeah, I'm D4. I'm credited as D4 also for this. That's director 4.
He was nicknamed Director 4 on the project.
I was in charge of teaching extras how to play dead.
Well, some things remain the same. As a writer, you fight with the director to realize your vision. And as a director, you fight with the writer to realize your vision. So, but jokes apart, it's a collaborative medium. It's all about respecting each other's vision. And as a writer, at some point of time, you have to surrender your vision to the director. And when it's someone like Zoya, you know that with her vision, there's going to be magic on screen. And that's exactly what happened. And when it's someone like Reema, who's a writer, then you feel privileged as a director to come on board. And you don't have to do much. It's all there in the script. It's, so that was my cue. And it was both roles equally exciting.
First of all, thank you for this. और जहाँ तक रोल करने की बात है तो मैंने पहले भी कहा था कि एक्सेल एंड टाइगर बेबी वाज प्रोड्यूसिंग, रीमा वाज डायरेक्टिंग एंड स्क्रिप्ट वाज सो ब्यूटीफुल. और मैंने जितना भी काम किया बहुत ही इंटेंस और वैसा कुछ किया है. तो ये कैरेक्टर थोड़ा सा ना बेवकूफ़ है. तो ये वैसा सा कैरेक्टर जो मैंने कभी किया नहीं है. इज़ वेरी इंडियरिंग और बहुत ही कॉम्प्लेक्स कैरेक्टर है. लाइक ही इज़ अ करप्ट पुलिसमैन एंड एट द सेम टाइम इज़ वेरी सेंसिटिव एंड वेरी इमोशनल. तो ऐसा कैरेक्टर मैंने कभी प्ले किया नहीं है. और पहली बार वर्दी जैसे कहा कि पहनने का मौका मिल रहा है तो हर बंदे की चाह होती है एक्टर की यार एक दिन वर्दी वाला रोल करें तो मज़ा आए. दैट्स इट.
Again, they're both very different, kinds of worlds. So it's nice to take a break from the Made in Heaven world and go and take a U-turn and go into a completely different world.
Like I said, I was just waiting for this character to come to me, and when it did, I just kind of got into it like without any hoo-ha, hullabaloo, nothing of that sort. I think I had to look a certain way. I had to, and honestly, genuinely, when that uniform comes on, na, आदमी की चाल बदल जाती है. Like you just start walking straighter. You just get hard. Like I was a hard chick, man. it was unreal. I can't tell you the power of that uniform. It's the first time that I've played a character of a cop. I had to learn how to ride a bike, which I ended up loving so much that I bought myself a bike after the show, and now my mom is very worried because I just take it out in the night and go. So I think that was really a new experience and a very fun experience for me to learn how to ride the bike. Of course, the dialect was very different. What we've all spoken in the show, that was something new that I learned and we had to prepare for. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience as an actor. I got to learn a lot. And I think as a role, I was born to play this role.